I don't think these spiders are the most effective predators the world has ever seen. I believe some humans, their ability to swing webs. They're like Spider-Man, bro. I mean, Spider-Man is pretty strong, though. After I go through them, that's how I noticed them. Otherwise, I couldn't even see them in the first place. I did not know spiders can do this many things. They got every single ability in the flipping world. These webs must be strong as hell, bro. They're like literally holding up. Are spiders overpowered? What is that? Caterpillar? I think he's getting... Did it just bite that thing and jump off with it? That was crazy, bro. It did not only want to kill it, it just bit the spider and just brought it to the underworld with it while jumping. What would you do this for? The biting was necessary and the jumping part was completely unnecessary. It's just doing moves it's not supposed to be doing, bro. Crazy.
Episode was sponsored by War Thunder.
War Thunder
Arthropods
spiders
have been one of the most dominant factions in the game since pretty much the very beginning.
Oh,
the safety provided by their tough exoskeletal armor gave the arthropod player base a lot of room to experiment with new builds. One of the most successful examples is the Spider, a unique arthropod build with a whole arsenal of powerful abilities.
Wait, spiders existed from the very beginning of life forms existed? Like, that's crazy to me. I did not know they were that old. I mean, these spiders are massive, but still, how old are they, bro?
But just how broken are spiders? Today, we're discussing their stats, their special abilities, and their matchups to demonstrate just how overpowered they truly are. Did attributes. First, we have to talk about the least overpowered thing about them, their base stats.
Spider stats.
While spiders are some of the most effective predators the game has ever known, it's not because their raw stats are anything special. In fact, if anything, their stats
Wait, what?
make them... While spiders are some of the most effective predators the game has...
Most effective predators game has ever seen. Are you sure about that? I don't think these spiders are the most effective predators the world has ever seen. I believe some humans can definitely compete with these spiders. Just saying. Maybe even surpass them significantly. Just saying, bro.
Ever known. It's not because their raw stats are anything special. In fact, if anything, their stats make them look pretty pathetic at first.
Yeah, these stats are pathetic, bro. The stealth is kind of high, but other than that, this is just some trash stats. Wait, I didn't know spiders have such high stealth stat. I thought they had high mobility, to be honest. Why do they have such high stealth stat, but their mobility is basically their third lowest, just behind their intelligence? This is some trash intelligence, but I wasn't expecting spiders to be all that intelligent. Their HP is, yeah, that's what I was expecting. I don't know what PER means.
Glance. There's a common misconception that spiders are, like, absurdly strong for their size. And although they can indeed lift things 10 times their own body weight, that's honestly not even par for the course when it comes to their weight class. The real kings of the strength category, builds like the ant and beetle, are several times stronger. In fact, much of the spider's skill set is tailored around allowing spiders to take down large prey without needing to be strong enough to physically restrain it themselves.
They don't look that strong at all. They got the 2 weak arms, bro.
Defensively, things are even worse. Spiders have some of the worst armor of any arthropod. Despite being more closely related to scorpions, their exoskeleton is more akin to that of a soft, plump caterpillar than anything else. Their weak point is completely unarmored and difficult for the spider to guard against. Any direct attack from a predator can easily one-shot them. Their stealth is their only good stat, with the rest of them being mid at best. Of course, that is on average. Some spider builds do specialize in mobility or raw strength, which I talked more about in my spider tier list video. Anyway, the point is, what makes spiders broken is not their stats, but their abilities. Spiders have access to
their ability to swing webs. They're like Spider-Man, bro. I mean, Spider-Man is pretty strong, though, but spiders are not that strong compared to other species.
Vast array of powerful perks that dramatically elevate their survival and combat capabilities. Real quick, let's go over some of the minor ones first. The spider's appendages may seem pretty unimpressive, and sure, compared to a scorpion's claws or a locust's legs, they're nothing special. But a few things. They do have small claws at the end, which grant spiders excellent climbing mobility.
Why do they have so much hair, though? For what reason do they have that much hair? It's crazy. They almost got furs with the amount of hairs they're be carrying.
And similar to a lizard's tail, a spider's leg can snap off if hit by a grappling attack in order to escape a combo. Unlike the lizard, though, losing only 12% of your legs is a lot less of a sacrifice than losing your only weapon. Many players don't even have the nerve to mess with spiders in the first place, though.
I don't want to mess with spiders either, bro. Who wants to go against spiders? I don't think they're a good food source in the first place. They're so skinny. They're so useless. Like, who's gonna go and like fight for spiders, bro? Literally nobody's doing that. Literally not a single person wants to eat spiders or want to mess with these things. They just want to completely annihilate them and just just throw their body out. That's the only thing that people want to do with spiders. Even animals don't want to mess with these things. It's kind of funny though.
Because of their next ability, Venom.
What?
With a few exceptions, every spider relies at least partially on venom to bolster their combat strength.
I had no idea spiders have venom at all. It's been a while since I watched Spider-Man movies. In there, they did say something about venom, I think. That's how Spider-Man turns into Spider-Man. With the spider biting him and injecting some kind of stuff into him. I just forgot. I watched it when I was 10, okay? I just forgot everything. You can't expect me to remember all this shit. But, I don't know.
This gives their attacks bonus damage, making it a useful deterrent on defense. But more importantly, their venom inflicts the paralysis status effect, immobilizing their prey so that it can be more easily carried and consumed. Because of how low the spider's base power stat is, this venom often needs to be extremely potent, able to immediately incapacitate its target, giving it no chance to counterattack or escape. Okay, but enough beating around the bush. All of those abilities pale in comparison to the spider's signature special ability, spinnerets. On this channel, there are a handful of abilities that I bring up over and over as being meta-definingly broken. Tool use, flight, usociality, echolocation, color change, these all can make or break a character's placement on the tier list.
Yep.
I think silk spinning belongs in this same category. This ability is how spiders broke the game. It is one of the most versatile abilities of all, with applications spanning nearly every aspect of survival, from mobility to offense to defense to tons of niche utility use cases. Let's break it down.
Okay. I think that ability is like really good. Like really good. When you I'm saying it's really good because I watched Spider-Man, bro. That's the only reason. I'm just comparing in the video, the whole video about spiders to Spider-Man. That's the only thing I can compare spiders to. That's why I'm comparing the spiders to Spider-Man. Spider-Man would be kind of like less broken and less powerful without his ability to swing webs, right? So that's the same thing for spiders. So that's why they're so overpowered. Are spiders overpowered? What tier am I thinking they're going to be before he gets more deep into the thing? As far as I've seen so far, I think spiders are A tier. I'm just putting them at A tier before the video just keeps going, okay? A tier. I believe. Let's go.
The most well-known use is, of course, the standard web trap. A spider
Very
player
famous.
will construct a sticky, net-shaped trap and simply wait for an unsuspecting player to accidentally fly in. Contact with the web immediately inflicts the restrained status condition, which is pretty much instant GG's versus a build that can one-shot you if it lands a hit. But trapping prey really only scratches the surface when it comes to the utility of silk and spinnerets. I'd argue the ability to spin webs buffs literally every aspect of spider gameplay and completely negates all the shortcomings of their stats. In general, spiders are not all that nimble, their large abdomens are fairly cumbersome, and without wings, they're far below average as far as arthropods go. But the amount of additional movement options web spinning gives you is insane. Silk can be used to cross massive gaps with ease. It can be used to completely negate falling damage. It can be used to quickly ascend from a low position. And in some cases, it can even be used to fly, albeit without much directional control, but also without the need for cumbersome wings.
What the fuck?
Albeit without much directional control, but also without the need for
Did it just make a parachute in mid of a... What is that? What was that, bro? It just made a parachute in front of a mushroom or whatever that is and just flew away. Like, it just joined. It got flown away like that. What? That was crazy.
In cases, it can even be used to fly, albeit without much directional control, but also without the need for cumbersome.
It just opened up its parachute and just bam, just flew away to another continent. It was crazy. The silk ability is so OP, bro. It can do everything. It's literally Spider-Man, but better somehow. It's better than Spider-Man. Spider-Man can make parachutes mid-air. I mean, he can kind of swing off stuff, but it doesn't even need building to swing off of. It can just swing off of air. But Spider-Man needs buildings to swing off of. So actual spiders are even more overpowered than flipping Spider-Man. This is crazy. It was insane.
Some wings. Next, let's talk about stealth. While many spiders do have decent camouflage, webs complement their ability to hide in a few ways.
Bro, what are these spiders, man? They're creeping me out now. They're actually creeping me out. What the flip? What is this? Who would do this? Who would ever do this? Like, bro, I'm actually getting scared of spiders at this point. Like, what the flip? Look at these movements.
While many spiders do have decent camouflage,
that was so smooth.
Webs complement their ability to hide in a few ways.
It's acting like so human. Like, it's like putting it. Oh my god, bro. Why is it so smooth with it?
ways. The first is just that it enables them to hide in plain sight by positioning themselves away from places
did not
that
see
a
that.
player
I
would
was
normally
so-
check. It's very hard for eyes to focus on something unless they already know the general area to look. So just by nature of sitting in an unorthodox spot, many players will completely miss you. But if a player does detect
I just have to say, I have accidentally walked into spider webs before. Like, I do not see them at all. Like, when I go in front of a door, I just accidentally walk into spider webs. After I go through them, that's how I notice them. Otherwise, I couldn't even see them in the first place. After you walk through the spider webs, you can feel there are webs there. Otherwise, you can't even see it if you weren't focusing on it. I have experienced this personally. It's not a good feeling at all. It's kind of annoying.
a spider's presence, there's an advanced technique they can employ to give themselves a better chance to escape.
Swinging it around.
By mashing back and forth on your controller, you can cause the web to vibrate, temporarily granting you the blurred buff, boosting your evasion and making it much more likely that incoming attacks will miss.
I did not know spiders can do this many things. They got every single ability in the flipping world. Like, they can bury themselves. They got parachutes built into them. They can weave around like Spider-Man. They got like bouncing abilities now. They can fly in the sky like a what the fuck?
Webs may be the most useful for boosting the spider's offense. We already talked about the web trap, but there are many more ways a spider can use its webs.
Bro, that was so fast. These spiders are smooth, bro. Like, the last time I reacted to a TierZoo tier list, it was about scorpions. And they were so clunky. They couldn't even do shit. They're barely intelligent. They can't even move their hands. And they can't even beat rats. They miss fighting with rats. But these things, look at that. This looks so smooth.
Offense. We already talked about the web trap, but there are many more ways a spider
Like the way it's weaving around this flipping, what is this, a dragonfly? I think it's a dragonfly. Flipping around this dragonfly is insane.
can use its webs to increase its odds of a successful hunt.
Oh my god.
Web traps are most useful against flying builds, but webs can also be cast out as a net to target players scurrying along the ground more effectively, essentially bringing the web to them rather than waiting and hoping they wander in. Or if you want to get even more extreme, silk can be fired as a sticky projectile to pin down opponents at a safe distance. But you don't need to get anywhere near that fancy with it. Even just the basic concept of using a strand of silk to tether yourself to a surface opens up so many attack options in combat. Let me give you an example. Pouncing strikes are one of the riskiest attacking moves a player can employ in combat. They're excellent for closing distance on a target and dealing damage simultaneously. But if you miss, the momentum from the jump can result in your character ending up in a dangerous situation. Pounce is usually seen as the signature move of the Cat faction. And in those examples, the worst case scenario is usually just putting yourself in range of a counterattack.
Damn, was that a lion that got destroyed or what? Okay, that was a leopard. I think it was a leopard. I don't know what that is. But it looks like a leopard to me. It could be a cheetah too. Who knows? But that cheetah got destroyed by that zebra, bro.
And in those examples, the worst case scenario is usually just putting yourself in range of a counterattack.
Damn.
But for builds in lower weight classes, and especially arboreal ones, whiffing a pounce attack can literally send you falling to your doom.
Bro, I thought he was Spider-Man, bro. You are...
For spiders, this risk is completely negated with a single silk tether, meaning jumping spiders can get super greedy with their attacks without needing to worry about poor positioning. Silk can even be used to approach from unconventional.
How many types of spiders are there? We should ban spiders at this point, bro. There are too many types of spiders. They can do everything now. They can jump around. They can fly around. They can like swing around like Spider-Man. They can bounce. Like, what can't they do? They can literally do everything. And they're creep...
angles that players aren't used to covering. Great for allowing jumping spiders to attack other spiders' weak points. It really is just an incredibly broken ability, especially for the jumping spider, which can combo silk production with its excellent burst mobility. We're not done though, because silk production can also be used defensively, mainly in the form of base construction. The standard web trap is technically a form of this, though it's probably the least defense-oriented and frankly leaves you quite open to an attack. But skilled players can construct webs in a far more defensive manner if they choose. Styles like the tent web provide much more cover at the cost of visibility. But if you want to really max out your defenses, the trapdoor spider's strategy can't be beat. But if you want to really max out your defenses, the trapdoor spider's strategy can't be beat.
What in the flipping fantasy book is this, bro? It's like those chests from those fantasy movies or novels. I don't know what they are, but it's from a chest like where a monster just opens his mouth and just has a mouth inside of it. Like, that's how it looks like. This is insane. These spiders are unreal. This is like plus 100 camouflage. Nobody can like actually see what's inside of this.
Rather than using a sticky web to trap its opponents, it instead digs a burrow and uses silk to reinforce the walls and help control the temperature inside.
They can dig.
While also laying out a few tripwires on the outside to allow the spider to detect when other players are in range of an ambush. It is admittedly a bit less precise than more active hunting types are though. Now, if you really want to go crazy,
They weren't that OP, but it's still impressive. But they don't have the accuracy for it. They got like plus 100 stealth, but got like accuracy of a toddler. They can't hit for nothing, bro.
Crazy with it, most of the spider's usual enemies aren't going to look for you underwater. So if you've got the guts to dive down, you can construct a bell web underwater and use that as your home base while you hunt for fish and tadpoles. It's a high-risk, high-reward playstyle though, given how many dangerous builds lurk below the surface. Overall, spiders have an incredible array of traits, and with smart play, they can subvert just about all of their weaknesses. However, there are still some vulnerabilities that skilled players can exploit. So let's talk about their matchups. The spiders' best matchups are of course flying insects. Their wings get easily tangled in the web and can get torn up as they try to escape. Getting trapped is almost certainly GG for them. Reptiles may seem like they should have a solid matchup against spiders, and of course, when there are massive size discrepancies, it can be pretty unfair. But for less tanky reptiles, spiders are a huge threat.
Less tanky reptiles, and he's showing a flippin' snake. Bro, I'm pretty sure snakes are pretty tanky, to be honest.
It can be pretty.
And what kind of lizard is this? Reptile. I forgot. I think it's a gecko. I might be mistaken though. Actually, don't know.
Unfair. But for less tanky reptiles, spiders are a huge threat.
Bro, this snake is getting bodied by a spider. Look at this. It's actually floating in the sky. It's insane. Like, the spider got the flipping snake floating in the sky with just its webs. I think it got the webs up. You can barely see it though, but these webs must be strong as hell, bro. They're like literally holding up a snake. And that snake is probably like 100 times more heavy than the actual spider. It's insane. These things are OP.
Scale armor is great for blocking slashing damage, but piercing fangs can puncture right through their defenses and inflict devastating venomous bites. This matchup also really helps it sink in just how strong spider silk is, as even medium-sized reptiles can't easily shake it off.
Okay, I'll go back to watching the video.
Frogs, and in particular tree frogs, are an especially explosive matchup. Because both frogs and spiders have incredibly low defenses, one wrong move is all it takes. Frogs can easily one-shot spiders, and because of their excellent burst mobility, it's difficult for spiders to evade their attacks. But frogs can also easily get caught in a spider's web while jumping through the trees, and once stuck, a spider can pierce through the frog's paper-thin defenses like nothing.
This is brutal. This frog is done for, bruh. This thing is just...
resulting in immediate paralysis. A highly volatile matchup, and surprisingly neutral given the amphibian's low-tier status. Beetles are an interesting case. They are flying insects, but because of their absurdly high power and defense stats, they're a challenge for spiders to overcome even when caught in their web. Their armor is so thick that a spider's fangs might not be able to pierce through, and they're so strong that even when fully enveloped in a web cocoon, they can sometimes tear through. Spider players are often stuck just sitting and waiting for beetles to either free themselves or die of exhaustion. Birds are typically seen as the worst matchup for all terrestrial arthropods, but at the same time, silk web traps are highly effective against flying.
How strong are these webs? I just said they could like literally carry a snake, but this is actually insane. They can trap a bird now? These webs can literally trap a bird, bro. Like, how strong are these spiders? I mean, the Spider-Man's webs were kind of exaggerated, but in reality, they were not exaggerated at all. These things are insane. Like, they're trapping animals that are like 10 times their size. How is that even possible? Like, what kind of ability is that? I don't know.
Flying enemies, and birds are no exception. Webs are strong enough to capture small birds, and feathers offer very little protection against venomous fangs. However, if given the chance, birds will pick off an out-of-position spider in an instant, and the bird's armored beak presents no opportunity for the spider to counterattack. Taking out a spider is worth a lot of XP for birds, as they can also steal all of the insects that are trapped in its web. One of the spider's worst matchups is against bats, which is surprising because it's another flyer. This is because the spider's double team technique has to be used on reaction. So, if a spider ever fails to see an enemy coming, it could easily get one shot before it has a chance to respond. This makes them especially vulnerable to builds with the echolocation ability, as they can strike from total darkness, giving the spider zero chance to detect the incoming attack before it's too late. And lastly, this isn't a matchup per se, but one of the other weaknesses spiders have are storms. Severe weather events affect web building spiders much more negatively than most characters, as high winds and heavy precipitation can render a web ineffective.
Yeah, that's like a major weakness, but like they can make their web again. Like the storm is going to go away in like 1 or 2 days. It's not a major event that's going to keep happening every single day or something like that. So I don't think this is like a major weakness, but it's still something to keep in mind, I think.
Effective if it doesn't just outright destroy it. All of this to say, if you take away silk spinning, spiders are actually a real mixed bag when it comes to their viability in the meta. But with access to spinnerets, many of them jump from low mid-tier to high tier. with jumping spiders in particular being arguably top tier.
This spider is just toying with the snake. Like, I don't know what the hell the snake did to get into this situation, but it just needs to regret every single choice it ever made in its entire life at this point. Like, what is this, bro?
Silk really is just that broken.